Does the teacher education make a difference in teacher quality? That's the question we have to answer. I'm going to try to answer. This question resonates within the school district each September when it is time for the school bells to ring in a new year. Quite often we ask our parents, colleagues, and school administrators, will our teachers make a difference in the lives of our youth that are attending that school? The simple fact is teachers make a difference, and here's why. But first, let me insert a caveat here which says if a teacher has had experiences in life, maybe even a second career before becoming a teacher, then the belief would be that that would make a difference. But what are some of the defining characteristics of a great teacher? Great educators set the goals high in the classroom. They allow for the success of the students to achieve greatness and not leave anyone behind. In fact, this should be the most important school-related factor influencing student achievements. This exploration evaluates a wide range of first-hand studies that look at the impact of teacher characteristics and teacher success in order to draw conclusions about the extent to which these individuals are, in fact, about these individualities are, in fact, linked with the teacher performance in the classroom. Does this mean that teachers should get to know their students and the lives that they live outside the classroom? I say yes. I say yes because they can greatly appreciate that sometimes certain unassuming societal characteristics can lead to misunderstandings in the classroom if the teacher does not recognize something that his or her student says or does. Now, teachers who visit students' homes and devote times in their communities cultivate a deep mindfulness of a student's social setting and the inspirations that that student has in his or her life, and are better able to help them in a classroom setting. Similar to these rights, freedom of expression also gives public teachers the rights to freedom of association, based on the First Amendment's provision, which grants citizens the right to peaceful assembly. These rights generally permit public school teachers to join professional, labor, or similar organizations, and run for public office and similar forms of association. However, teachers may be required to ensure that participation in these activities is completely independent from their responsibilities to the school. So, we need to ask ourselves what this has to do with teacher education that makes a difference with teacher quality. Well, it says plenty to me. Let me remind you that in our society today, we focus heavily our attention on what associations teachers have and what it says about that public figure. Take the recent case of a Catholic school teacher in Butte. She was fired for a breach of contract because she had gotten herself pregnant and was not married at the time. I don't understand how can the Diocese of Helena dismiss a teacher who was rated excellent by her principal at the time because of her pregnancy. Her lawyer has said his client is protected from this discrimination due to the pregnancy by Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The diocese has said it fired Evanson for violating the terms of her contract. It was an immorality clause, which required her to practice the tenets of Catholic faith inside and outside the classroom. So, how can we justify this policy and stand by today's standards? I am a man who does believe in God and tries to abide by my Christian faith. I believe that the only one to judge would be the Almighty himself. One case that set a precedence was Lasota v. Town of Topsfield, 1997, which was a similar situation to the situation in Butte, because the plaintiff in this case was not married at the time to the man whom she had cohabitated with or lived with during her non-tenure teaching within the town of Topsfield in the Massachusetts school system. The plaintiff, which like the plaintiff in the Butte case, had received a superlative rating on her evaluation. We often fail to listen or even realize that some of our professional people that are in charge of our students' learning have to be listened to as well. We ask the teacher to actively listen to the students that they teach for the meaning behind what the students are saying, for any meanings behind what the students are saying. If we often listen to what our teachers are saying, we can make sure that they are properly understood. This gives the teacher the grace and dignity to stand up and be recognized for guiding their students that are in their care for 8 hours a day. It not only creates a great learning environment, but helps create a trust between the teacher and the students themselves. I feel that there is a double standard in these situations that the teacher does not feel welcome or comfortable in the school building, that they cannot come to their supervisors and discuss the situation that they may be in at the time. This double standard is the reason that I feel we are holding back our newest teachers who are fresh out of college and have attained a very good grade point average in the time as college students. It does not seem like the laws are changing and allowing for school teachers and their students to associate freely with groups that allow for them to be themselves. I feel that in smaller communities, the veil of secrecy is still not lifted and remains covered over the schools and its administrators, who try to keep a small town way of life the same every day, 365 days a year. I think that we, as the future educators, owe it to ourselves and our future students to keep educating our own minds and finding newer and better ways to keep the education process open and not limit the minds of the young people that are in our classroom. This starts with us.